Hello and welcome. Today we're going to be talking about 7 unfortunate mistakes that people make when they're trying to get additional money for their business. I swear I just took a drink of water. Anyway, these are important because every business needs more money, but these mistakes can have a real detrimental effect when you're looking for investors. So, if you're new here, my name is Taylor Darcy from Think Legal, where I help you create the business of your dreams. So welcome. So you know we go live Monday through Friday, except for holidays and the occasional, like when I have jury duty next week. Other than that, we're here. I'm here to answer questions, to help you, to give you the insight that you need to help you grow your business from a legal perspective as well as others. I also have a podcast, Tactical Startup. It's available on iTunes or Apple Podcasts or whatever it is these days. There's also a link below, so please check that out. I don't go as often with that one, but I'm working on it. So we'll be producing more content for that. I just want to touch bases with you because I just want you to know how important you are to me if you're watching this video. And the reason why is because it took something for you to get here. I hope that you're here, but I want you to know that you are the reason that I do this, and that I grew up with parents who could have used someone like me helping them with their business. So that's my goal. That's why I'm here. And that's why I create these videos, is to help you so that you can build and have the best business that you want. Now, I say that because I want you to know that if there's a question that you have that I haven't answered, and I'm sure there's lots of questions out there, please don't hesitate to put in the comments below, first of all, where you're from and where you're joining me, where you're watching this from, because I'm always interested in learning about new people. But also put in the comments below something that you would like to learn about, something that I could help you with, because I may very well do a video on that topic if you let me know. If I don't know, it's hard for me to do. I'm producing the content that I think you would like to learn based on my research. That doesn't mean that's completely 100% accurate. So please, by all means, send me a message. Let me know what you'd like to learn, things that you would like that would help your business grow, something that you may not be familiar with. I would love to help you and help your business get to where you want it to be, whatever that may be. All right, well, that being said, let's go ahead and get started. All right, so the first thing that you want to be very careful about is that, or the mistake that a lot of entrepreneurs make, is that they fail to recognize the needs of the investor. You've got to, the constant thing that has to be on your mind when you're thinking about getting money from someone is what's in it for them. Okay. And I know that sounds like, well, no, duh. But the problem is that most entrepreneurs are thinking about what's in it for the entrepreneur. So what can you do with that business to help it grow, right? And so you need to have this paradigm shift in your thinking and go, what can I provide to this investor that will help them? And when you do that very different thought process will help you build a business plan, which we'll talk about in just a second, but help you build that business around what the investor wants, because at the end of the day, if you give them what they want, then they'll give you what you want. So keep that in mind. Very important to remember that you've got to concentrate on what's in it best for the investor, not what's in best for your business, because it's their money you're asking for, okay? And they can choose not to give it to you. When you are building your business plan, many entrepreneurs make the mistake of having too many exhibits and not enough analysis. You need to spend way more time analyzing the different scenarios that you're going to do during your business plan than you do providing cute graphs and charts and things of that nature. You want to present something that gives them confidence that what their money is going to be used for is going to help bring that return on investment. Okay. Otherwise, what ends up happening is that it's pretty, but it's not functional. And most entrepreneurs, especially most investors that have been doing this for a while, can smell bull from a mile away. Okay. And so when you pad things with too many exhibits and not enough analysis, it means you haven't fully baked through your plan yet. You haven't really got down into that nitty gritty minutia that most investors want to see that you've done. It doesn't mean they necessarily want to see all of it at once. And we'll talk about that in just a second, but you need to show them that you've thought seriously and are implementing those things, whether they're a part of the business or not. How are you as the primary shareholder doing with what you've done so far? Okay. The other thing is a lot of entrepreneurs forget that timing is everything. Okay. The best time to get additional capital is when you don't need additional capital. When you need it and you look needy to the investor, it creates several bad problems. Number one, the investor is worried about their investment, because if you need it and you can't live without it, then you're putting yourself in a couple of binds. Number one, that your bind is that they might take advantage of that you need it, and so they're gonna take advantage of you and how that or take advantage of that situation because you do need it. And then the other thing is investors aren't in the habit of giving their money away to just for the sake of giving. So the idea being that you want to give it to them when it's right. The timing on that has to be right. Okay. So that's number 3. Number 4 is don't be afraid of sharing your idea. I know this sounds crazy, but an investor could come from lots of different places. But the truth is there's lots of people think they have novel and amazing ideas. And I'm not suggesting that you don't have a novel and amazing idea. But the problem is that most people are too dang lazy to execute on it. I mean, that's the truth. So you might get an investor that is like, yeah, I've got money. I don't really want to do it. That's why they would rather have you do it. So part of them is getting paid for you doing the work that you already wanted to do in the first place. But so don't be afraid to share it, because you never know where that investment might come from, where someone might be interested in investing with you if you're afraid to share it. If you keep it hidden, you're only really hurting yourself. And honestly, truthfully, 95 to 99% of the time, I'll say 90, I'll go as high as 99% of the time, nobody's going to steal your idea. Okay? Because they don't have the tools or the know-how to execute it. Even if you were to map it out in its 100% entirety, they don't have the passion that you have. They don't have the drive. They don't have the determination. They don't have the desire to do what you're doing. And so there's no point in you hiding it, because they're not going to execute on it anyway. Anybody that has the resources to act on it is going to rather you do it anyway. This is why CEOs pay workers to do the work, right? Not because there's no reason for them to do it. They're typically idea people, not the worker doing it. And so you kind of have to think of that as how the investment and investor-investee relationship is. So nobody's going to steal your idea. Just get over that. I mean, you can always do an NDA if you really want to, a non-disclosure agreement. Those are a great way to protect yourself if you need to, but you don't have to. There's nothing that says that it's required that you do. The next thing is most, not all, but most entrepreneurs prepare inadequately. They aren't willing to put the effort in. And I guess this is part of the failing the needs to recognize the needs of an investor, and part of number 2 as well. But the idea is that you want to be the person with the most knowledge about your product in the room, inside out, sales, up, down, around you want to get so that you know it better than anyone else in the world. Not to say that someone else couldn't come in and learn it, but the idea being that you want to prepare for your investment strategy or investor strategy as very focused, very unique to it. A lot of entrepreneurs, they provide like more of a shotgun approach to it, and then that's a problem because each investor, it's kind of like you're not going to date every woman, right? And investing is a lot like that. If you're trying to date every woman, you're going to lose, you're going to gain nothing. You're never going to date anybody. But if you're trying to focus in on the one, then you're going to focus on their needs, their likes, their dislikes, that type of thing. That's how you have to look at an investor. Each investor as a person, someone that you want to get into a relationship with. And so you want to be very comfortable in that relationship with them, because the last thing you want to do is have a bad relationship. And so take your time, get to know the person. Don't rush. You'll be so much happier than if you do. The next thing is that you have to remember that ownership does not always equal control, depending on how things are drafted. And so you really want to keep control as much as possible if it's your baby, right? You want to make sure that ownership you keep control as well as ownership. You have to be careful though. This is why, for instance, you need an attorney on the other side or with you to help you craft the language that is going to protect your interest in the business. Because otherwise you could end up with very screwed up circumstance without that protection. So you really, really want to sit down and make sure that if you're looking to get capital, that you're talking with an attorney that's experienced in helping with getting capital and things that they need to look for or that you need to look for while you're doing this process. This should be something that you're investing in, not just kind of like hoping for the best, kind of haphazard, and we need more money. Let's try and see what we can get, that type of thing. The more specific, the better. The clearer your goals are, the better. The clearer the usage for the money, the better. The clearer the return on investment, the better. There's so many factors that go into it. You need to spend the time and the effort to make sure that it's adequate for your needs and for the business, right? And then consider doing things like what's called staged investing, only taking investment based upon the need and if you meet certain benchmarks, so you don't give away too much too quickly, or you're not sitting on a pile of cash that you're not using that just costs you equity in the company that is a whole lot harder for the other party to give up than it is for you to just have not done it in the first place. So I really want you to consider these different options when you're thinking about getting these outside investors. And then number 7, and this is probably one of the most important things, is that your business plan. Size matters. Okay. Investors are busy people. As I've said in one of my previous videos, you want to have a 1-page, a 2-page, and then a full business plan. And each business plan, if you will, is going to whet the appetite of the potential investor to get you to the next one. So you're going to make it so that it's like when they started giving away samples in Costco or grocery stores, sales shot up because they got a taste. People would get a taste of something and then they wanted more. And so that's what you have to think about with your business plan when you're getting investors. You want to, and I know I've said this in other videos, but I want to reiterate it because I think it's important, is that single page is just to get you to the second page. That second page is just to get you to the full plan. But it's all about building that trust and that relationship and starting that process of giving a sample. How well you do with that, I mean, you're going to spend a lot of time on this, but how well you do with that single page business plan is going to make all the difference, because as we know, people that are first impressions count and matter, right? The very first thing people see about you gives them what they're going to need to know for a while. And so if you get off and that's the same thing with the business plan. So if you get off on the wrong foot because you hand them a 4-inch thick binder of every study and thought process that ever went into building that particular type of business and investment, first of all, they're never going to read it, not to begin with. And second of all, it's it's too much. You're giving them too much to process. They may not even be interested past the first page or second page or 2 page. So you're creating a relationship already that's unfairly burdened, and that it's going to create issues. The relationship isn't going to progress very far. And I use this analogy. It's the equivalent of asking someone to marry you on your first date. Bad idea, terrible idea, or something similar to that, right? That's a huge commitment. You don't do that. First date, you're getting to know the person, you're flirting, you're having fun. It's meant to be fun. Think of the business plan like that. Think of the business plan as building this relationship between you and investors. But you start out with creating the fun thing, the thing that gets their attention, that gives them that sample of how awesome you are, okay? That first impression that's as pretty and perfect as you can imagine. Then you're in 2 page. If they're interested in their 1 page, then they're going to be interested in your 2 page. Maybe they quit reading after the first page and they're like, nah, this isn't for me. I'm out. That's okay. Every no that you get gets you closer to a yes. Remember that. There's other people have said this before. I'm not new on that. I'm not going to take credit for it, but it's true. So you take that single page. Isn't it easier to get rejected when somebody doesn't know you than to have worked all this time and money and energy into getting this investor, and then they reject you after having done all of these things? And that might happen too. I'm not suggesting that it's completely, that just because you do this process or this form or this way of doing things, that it's going to work absolutely every time. But the idea being that you won't have, with the majority of the people that you're trying to get for investors, that single page is going to move to the next one. Maybe not, but you won't have spent as much time trying to get them for someone that's just going to say no anyway. Okay. So these are just all of the thoughts that you need to, and then the mistakes that business owners make when they are trying to get investors. So take the time, do it right. Don't waste time. Don't spend too much time doing this, because you still have a business to run. But the idea being that if you spend the right amount of time, then you'll be fine. And you do it, and the investor you'll be getting that funding that you need in order to be successful. So, as I've said before, and I'll say again, if you've gotten value out of this video, don't forget to hit subscribe and like, and know that we go live Monday through Friday at 11. Monday through Friday, except for holidays. So we'll talk to you later. Have a good one.